Have you ever been in one of those meetings where the numbers just don't line up? You know, one report says everything's great, but another one says you're losing money. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden world of maintenance databases. These are the powerful engines that can either drive your whole operation forward or grind it to a screeching halt.
All right, let's kick things off with a scene that is probably way too familiar for a lot of you. It's that classic data showdown, the argument that happens in meeting rooms everywhere, probably every single week. Sound familiar? You're sitting in a high-stakes meeting, people are passing around reports, and the numbers are telling completely different stories. It's more than just frustrating, right? It's a total progress killer. It stops the important conversations before they can even get started.
And here's exactly what that looks like in the real world. The maintenance team stands up, they're proud of their report from their system, showing a fantastic 97% availability. High fives all around. But then, finance chimes in with their report, showing that maintenance costs are actually going through the roof. And just like that, the whole meeting shifts from how can we improve to a debate over whose data is the real data.
So what's going on here? Where is this disconnect coming from? Is one of the systems just broken? Well, the surprising answer is that the technology is usually working perfectly fine. The real, hidden problem, it's the data itself.
You know, it's easy to think of data as just flowing seamlessly from one place to another, but the reality is so much more complicated. It has to navigate this maze of different data structures, interfaces, and this tangled web of codes. And it's deep inside this digital labyrinth that things quietly start to break down.
And what's really fascinating is how simple the root causes are. This isn't some complex algorithm failing, it's a human problem. Just imagine a technician. They're under pressure to close out a work order, and they have to pick between 3 different codes for a single punk failure. They just make a quick guess. Or maybe one plant defines downtime a little differently from another. These tiny, seemingly harmless inconsistencies, they snowball into massive headaches when it comes time to run reports. And this brings us to probably the most important point of this entire section. You can't just throw a powerful, shiny new software system at this problem and hope it goes away. In fact, it'll do the exact opposite. It will take all that bad data, process it at lightning speed, and amplify those unreliable results across the entire organization. It just makes the problem bigger, and it makes it faster.
So, if new technology isn't the silver bullet, then what is? Well, the solution starts with understanding that different databases are really like specialized tools in a mechanics toolkit. You wouldn't use a wrench to hammer in a nail, right? So let's take a quick tour of the essential tools every maintenance team needs. First up, the CMMS, the Computerized Maintenance Management System. This is the workhorse out on the shop floor. It's the digital clipboard for the modern technician. A CMMS is all about execution, managing work orders, scheduling PMs, and keeping a basic log of what got done. Think of it as the tactical, boots-on-the-ground command center. At its very core, a CMMS is designed to answer one simple, fundamental question: what work was done and when did we do it? It's the system of record for the day-to-day actions of the maintenance team.
Okay, now let's zoom out from the shop floor all the way up to the executive suite with the ERP, the Enterprise Resource Planning System. This is the big picture powerhouse for the whole company. It connects everything: finance, HR, supply chain, and of course maintenance. And it ties it all back to the company's balance sheet. So while the CMMS is all about the what and when, the ERP looks at maintenance through a purely financial lens. Its number one question is always, what did all of this cost? This is where you track every single dollar and cent for labor, parts, and contractors. Next in the toolkit is the EAM, or Enterprise Asset Management System. Now, this goes way deeper than a CMMS. See, a CMMS just tracks the work, but an EAM is built to manage the entire life cycle of an asset, from the day you buy it to the day you scrap it. It's like the comprehensive historical logbook for your most critical equipment. And because an EAM tracks such a rich history of data, it becomes the perfect tool for reliability engineers. It helps them answer that million-dollar question: what failed? And more importantly, what was the root cause? It's what helps you move from just fixing things to actually preventing them from breaking in the first place. All right, now let's talk about the diagnostic tools. An MHMS, or Machinery Health Management System, is basically a stethoscope for your assets. It's constantly listening, collecting real-time data from sensors that measure things like vibration, temperature, and oil quality. It gives you a live feed of your equipment's health. This system gives you an immediate, real-time pulse check. It doesn't care about what happened last week. It is laser-focused on the here and now. It answers that critical question. What is this asset telling us at this very second? Is a major failure just around the corner? And finally, every good workshop needs a library. That is the role of the DMS, or Document Management System. This is the central hub for all the critical info your team needs to do their job safely and correctly. We're talking manuals, drawings, safety procedures. It's the system that makes sure everyone is working from the same, most up-to-date playbook.
A DMS solves a deceptively simple but absolutely vital problem. Where is the right document when I need it the most? Okay, so we've got all these amazing specialized tools, and each one is a master of its own domain. But how do we bring them all together to solve that data argument from the beginning? Well, this is where we build the holy grail of data management, the single source of truth. I want you to meet the Enterprise Data Warehouse, or EDW. Now, it is absolutely crucial to understand this is not just another operational system. You don't close work orders in an EDW. You don't order parts in it. Instead, think of it as the master workbench, where all the data from all those other systems gets brought together, cleaned up, and prepared for analysis. And here's the magic of how it all works, broken down into 4 key steps. First, it pulls in all that raw data from your different systems. Then, and this is the most important part, it standardizes that data. So a pump failure code means the exact same thing everywhere. After that, it stores all this clean, unified data for historical analysis. And finally, it makes it all available for your reporting and business intelligence tools. And this is where it all comes together. With an EDW, you can finally put those 2 conflicting reports side by side and see the complete picture. The conversation is no longer about whose number is right, because they both are. Now leadership can see that yes, availability is high and that costs went up, which lets them finally ask the right strategic question. Why? Are we burning through overtime? Did our spare parts costs just skyrocket? See, now you're not arguing anymore, you're analyzing. So what does a strong maintenance information management strategy look like? Well, it's really built on these core principles. It's about knowing you're using the right tool for the right job. It's about being obsessed with data quality right at the source. It's about using an EDW to create that single version of the truth. And, really important, it's about resisting that temptation to force one system to do a job it was never ever designed for. At the end of the day, that's the real goal here. Understanding these database engines isn't just some technical exercise. It's about fundamentally changing your organization, from one that's stuck arguing about what happened in the past to one that is confidently making data-driven decisions to build a better future. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.